this recorded and I'll have this sent to you by tomorrow so you can go back and check it out afterwards. That work for you?
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, perfect. So what got you interested in one-on-one coaching?
You know, I want to get better, but I'm also kind of as I've gotten older, I kind of realized um, the effects of playing hours of video games, and at like moderate amounts, it can be a net benefit to my mental health, and in playing extended hours, it can be a net negative. So I just want to get better in a more efficient way, so that I don't have to just grind and grind and grind.
Mm, mm,
And kind
mm.
of, I really want to learn the game. I feel like there's something I'm missing. I like your videos, and your coaching is attractive to me because I know you also coach MMA, and I do jujitsu, and so I'm
Nice.
like, yeah,
How
I'm
long you been doing
trying to
jujitsu?
on and off. Right now, I've been off for a little bit, but
Sure.
kind of around 4 years.
Gi or
Blue
no
belt.
gi? Oh,
Both. I
nice.
love both. Yeah,
Nice, nice. I'm a no gi guy mostly, but my wife is really good at gi, so that's awesome, dude.
nice.
Congrats. And the blue
Yeah.
belt's I mean, people don't understand that, like, oh, it's only the second belt, but like, it takes a lot of commitment to even just get the blue belt.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And
Nice.
like I f- like with Overwatch, I feel like I'm missing like what is the jujitsu formula of this game? Because it's like I get jujitsu, or
Hmm.
like I'm not. I mean, I'm just a blue belt, but it's like I
Of course.
understand kind of the process, the formula, the positions of control, positioning
Yes.
before submission,
Yes. Exactly.
and I feel like I'm missing that with Overwatch,
Okay.
and so yeah,
Sure.
that's what I'm looking
Sure.
for.
Sure. Well, it's great that you bring that up because that's something that I think about all the time. At least
Mhm.
once per week, I'm always like trying to think about how jujitsu applies to it, and I haven't trained in a while.
Mhm.
But when I did coach a lot of what I learned from jujitsu carried over very well to Overwatch. So we'll talk about that. Position over submission is actually something that I have used word for word in sessions before,
Yeah,
Overwatch sessions before. Because we'll get to that in a little bit. Then. So okay, so
cool, cool.
I want to get out of bronze, silver, so I can play rank with my higher rank friends, family. Okay, full time job. Don't play a lot, so I want to learn the game to get better without spending unnecessary hours learning things the hard way. Okay. D.Va OTP. What's that?
OTP, what is
Oh,
that?
one trick pony. That's the video
Yep.
game knowledge coming up. Okay, so
Yeah,
one
yeah,
trick pony.
got you,
Okay,
got
sounds
you.
good. So
Uh-huh.
what appealed to you about D.Va?
So probably one of my favorite games of all time is Doom Eternal.
Uh huh.
Have you ever played?
No, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay, yeah. I'm a software developer, and I want to get into game development, and
Mm,
it appeals to me from a game development perspective, like how the dev team made the game, their emphasis on having fun, like on how to make the game the most fun, and it's all about, your tool set, the game teaching you, being like destructive, moving fast, high mobility. So D.Va, I feel like scratched that Doom Eternal itch, like full auto
mm.
shotguns, uh, dash missiles, just being that tank, and also just kind of being the most medium tank, like kind of like the Mario Kart with all of the stats in the middle.
Ah, yes, yes.
I felt like that's what I wanted. I wanted something that could flex a lot, and kind of be a Swiss Army knife and fit
Yeah.
a lot of positions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think that's a good way of putting it. I think D.Va is a difficult character to play at a high level, but she
Mhm.
has a lot of dynamics with how she plays, like you were saying, like the Swiss Army knife. And so if you're quick in adjusting how you play and how you position, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. I think it's like the equivalent of like having a good mount game, a good side control game, a
Yeah,
good guard game, a good tank down game. Maybe you're not the best at any one of those things, but you have enough dynamics. And I think especially in a ranked environment, it's really important because ranked is always a toss up of like, what is the enemy team going to play? What is my team going to play?
yeah,
And so there
yeah,
never is going to be a consistent theme. So having something that can fill and adjust is really, really important.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. So 3 to 6 hours per week. Okay, so let's talk about how often do you play? Is it like a twice a week, 3 times a week? I'm sure it depends, but generally.
Yeah. Yeah, generally, I'll play mostly on the weekends. It's like sometimes I'll play throughout the week if like all of my friends and family happen to be on,
Yeah.
and they're like asking me to hop on or whatever, because that's really fun. But most of my time is on the weekend, Friday or Saturday, and usually like maybe 3 hours 3 hours Friday, 3 hours Saturday, maybe.
Okay, makes sense. So not consistently, but consistent with your inconsistency is basically the way to look at it. Okay, sounds good. So how is that time spent? Is that quick play, competitive, arcade?
If I'm on by myself, always competitive.
Okay,
And if I'm on with friends, as long as we're within like the same rank, we usually play competitive.
sure,
If there's more than 5 of us on, we'll usually do a 3v3. I mean, we've done 5v5s before,
sure.
which is really fun. But one of my brothers, I can't remember what rank he is, but his support is really high ranked, and he's a Life Weaver main, and so we can't really play unranked together yet. So if he's on, though, we still say like we'll play unranked and we'll learn the game
Sure.
as a team.
Sure, of course. I bet that can be pretty tough because I know Matchmaker will put you in like higher rank lobbies with quick play.
Yeah, probably. I mean, usually I'm not thinking about it as much because I'm like, if it's a loss, it was unranked. It's not gonna
Right. Sure.
doesn't affect
Sure.
my rank, but
Sure. Okay.
it's just there to have fun and kind of learn. And he's also really knowledgeable about the game too, so it gives me a chance. I don't get to play with him a whole lot, just because of scheduling and time. He's my youngest brother,
Okay.
and
Cool.
I know I'm the oldest, so it's like our
Sure.
schedule.
Welcome to the club with the cool
Yeah.
kids. The oldest are always the
Yep.
best.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Goals here. Short term is to rank up in order to play and have fun with friends. Long term, I have a large group of siblings and friends that are fairly serious about playing and learning the game. Really cool to get team coaching eventually and see how competitive we can become. Compete in Call of Duty Mobile. Played a lot of sports, jiu-jitsu, tackle football, basketball, pickleball, outdoor activities. Get back together and play like we used to, and then we've grown up and moved away from each other and have our own lives. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I can relate with that as well. I mean, I grew up in a big family and very competitive family, very sports oriented family, and so they don't really play
How
Overwatch.
many siblings, if you don't mind?
Well,
asking?
I'm the oldest of 7, actually.
Dope. Okay, I'm the oldest of 9.
Nah, oh my gosh. Okay, so you got me beat there, right? So yeah, I mean, maybe that's all we did is playing sports growing up as a kid. So it's like, they don't really play Overwatch, but thankfully they live close enough to where we can still do stuff together. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you feel is holding you back from improving? Decision making, tunnel vision, understanding, effective communication, emotional regulation, mechanical skills are not high compared to your average first-person shooter gamer. This is something I feel holds me back more than things listed. Okay. 7 hours of sleep per night on average, not terrible. Could be a little bit better, but that's not terrible. Okay, so I like to go through the checklist here whenever I'm working with somebody. So do you know are you playing on console or PC?
Console.
Console, okay. Do you feel like your settings with console are appropriate? Is that a YouTube video that you've ever taken the time to look up?
Yeah, actually, my brother made a really good in-depth video on
nice.
everything, like a 20-minute video, or maybe it's like 45 minutes actually, all about aim assist, what the different aim assist settings are. He just totally dove through the whole thing.
Brilliant. Okay, so as long as you got like those boxes checked, then all you really need to do is just worry about playtime. Now, you're in a situation right now to where you're not playing a lot, but a 3-hour session is fairly good, especially if it's twice per week. There is time there to practice and improve, and I think that you were even talking about that with your unranked, where it's like when I get an unranked, I'm just there to have fun and improve. That should be the same thing with ranked for you as possible as well. I know it's easier said than done because the number goes up, the number goes down, but really the numbers will always go up and they will always go down. And even with quick play, there's a hidden MMR with quick play. You don't see it, but it's still going up and it's still going down. But people don't see it, so they don't care about it as much. So the way I like to look at it, especially if somebody has a jiu-jitsu background, a sports background, is something I've spoken about before is that ranked should be a drill.
Yeah.
Where you have something specific you're trying to practice in that ranked game, and the success of that ranked game is not the win, not the loss, not even necessarily how you perform at that technique, but whether you're able to give it full attention. For example, if you're performing a double leg takedown, if you're performing a clown sweep, or if you're performing an arm bar or a rear naked choke, or any sort of a DARS or anaconda choke, like when you're performing the choke, you would like to succeed at it. You would like to be able to do it well when you're drilling it with a partner back and well. And you would like the instructor not come over and be like, yo, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, right? But even if the instructor does come over, and even if you're struggling with the technique and you're not doing a good job, when you finish drilling it, you still had time well spent. You still improved your level of play. So the next time you practice that very same technique, you'll be a little bit better than you were the time before, right?
Yeah.
The problem with Overwatch, not the problem, but just the structure of Overwatch, is that there are no technique drills. You know, if you think about jujitsu, you drill something, you warm up, you drill, and then you'll do like open mat, right? Or you'll roll or do rounds or whatever, right? But all Overwatch is rounds. All it is rounds. So what you have to do is you have to take something into the round that's not an ego trip, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if there were no drills in jiu-jitsu. You would have to go into rounds with something. I'm going to try and look to force this technique or look to really focus on like my grip control or whatever.
Right.
Because if all I do is I just try to win every single round, I'll get better over time, but I'm going to get better so inefficiently because I'm focusing more on the win and not on the technique.
Right.
And it also makes it a lot harder to lose around like that. Whereas if you lose around where you were just focusing on technique, doesn't matter. You got tapped out, but I wasn't caring about like not or getting tapped out. I was focusing on a specific thing that I'm pretty bad at, right?
Yeah.
It feels like it takes your ego out of it, right? And that's what ranked needs to be like too. And the difference between ranked and jiu-jitsu is that you can queue and queue and queue and queue and queue. And you talk about 3 hours, talk about how many games, what is that, like 9, 10, 11 games? I mean, imagine rolling for 3 hours. Right?
No.
You know, that would be tricky, right? That would be tricky. But you could do it with Overwatch. But you could do it with Overwatch as long as you don't get too emotionally invested into it, as you don't get too upset. Because you're just going to have to understand that there's the vast majority of games are going to be, winnable, won and lost, regardless of how well you played. And there's only a small percentage that is going to be controlled by how well you play. But even that is not something you should really focus on because, let's put it this way, if you continue to grind your skills over and over and over and over again to the point where you're silver D.Va, you don't even have to try to win. You're just going to play and you're going to win more games. You're going to win 55%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The key thing though is like a lot of people they know that they shouldn't focus on winning, but they don't know what they should be focusing on instead.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's where we have to, I want to prime your mindset so that when we go into this, you know what you're looking for. But, ultimately it's up to you to take the things that I'm literally going to give you a bullet point list of things to practice. And it's going to be your responsibility to take those bullet points and apply them, whether it's one at a time or however you want to do it, into your own ranked games and do your best to not worry about the result. Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Really quick before we get any further, do you have a replay code for me?
Yes.
I'm gonna get that pulled up real fast.
Yeah. And actually, so I have 4 that I have saved.
Beautiful.
I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask if you had a preference. So I have 1 competitive loss, 1 competitive win. I have an unranked loss that was close, and it was 4 stacks of like 3 of my friends in a rando. And then I have a custom game that was a 3v3 loss.
No custom game, but it comes to the 3, the one that we'll at least start with, I would say go with the one where you were a little bit confused as to what you needed to do or you weren't sure about the matchup. If any.
Yeah. I'll give you this first competitive loss because I think it's also on a map and mode that I've had trouble with in the past. Just like when I see that map, I'm like, what is it?
Yeah. It's Havana.
Yeah, Havana. Yeah,
it's the tough D.Va map for sure. Very open.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go over that in a second then. Okay, so any questions so far though?
No, this all sounds right. Like all aligned with my goals.
Okay, perfect. You just need to find specific things to bring into those open mat rounds, essentially. So every time you free roll, every time you play a ranked game, I'm practicing DARs, I'm practicing Gi, or practicing something specific. I'm practicing my positioning, my cooldown usage, my matrix management, my awareness of my team, my D.Va bombs. And just over the course of many games, you're going to be able to improve your ability to just execute. And ultimately, when you talk about things like tunnel vision and autopilot, you want your autopilot. The thing I always like to say is that, have you ever heard of the guy Marcelo Garcia?
Yeah, definitely.
I love that guy so much, right?
Yeah.
So whenever Marcelo Garcia rolls, if he's practicing something, he's thinking, right? Yeah. But if he's competing or if he's just rolling his gym, he's not thinking, he's just chilling, right? And yet he's a trillion times better than me if I'm thinking super, super hard. Why? Because his autopilot is level 7,000, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you develop your autopilot by thinking hard.
Yeah.
But eventually you will think about a skill so many times that it just feels natural and you don't even have to think about it at all.
Yeah.
And that's how it works with everything. So that's what we want to get with your Overwatch, just so that you don't, it's not about thinking more, it's about thinking more so that eventually you have to think less.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Okay. Any questions before we hop in?
No, I think, no questions at this time.
Okay. I will say one other little detail because it's come up a few times. Don't worry too much about effective communication in ranked unless you're working with friends and family.
Okay. Yeah.
Ranked teammates can be.
I don't communicate at all with anybody that.
Okay. Yeah. Focus on just your own gameplay. Focus on checking your teammates' positioning and help them as best as you can. Or play, but most of ranked is just team play throughout without opening your mouth because people won't always listen, and then that gets you frustrated, and then we go from there. Okay. Yeah. So what is D.Va good at? You talked about like the Doom intense, bam, 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 dynamic, very jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife. But like, what are D.Va's strengths, maybe compared to other characters?
She's better close range, good at taking space, mobility, high ground. Yeah.
Okay. Mobility. So here's the question: why is mobility a strength? What does it allow you to do?
Get to valuable space faster than others.
And why is that valuable?
Because who's there first has the advantage when you're fighting for space.
Sure. Here's another question. If I'm playing D.Va, who do I want to be shooting?
Right now in this instance?
Just in any instance. Like, look at their composition, look at the top right. Like, what are some targets that you would like to be able to shoot?
Kiriko, Mercy, and Hanzo.
Yep.
Probably Hanzo first.
All good assassinatable targets, right? But what's the problem with those targets, right? Where do they play?
In the back line.
Right. So how do you get to the back line?
Use my boosters.
You use your mobility.
Yeah, use my circle around.
Right. So you kind of approach, but again, even that circling around requires mobility, right?
Right.
So, but that's exactly what mobility does. You said you want to get up close, you want to, dive, you want to do damage up close. Well, to do that, you need that mobility. Even a character like Reinhardt needs charge to be able to get to certain targets, right? So that's what D.Va is. She's a close range, mobile character that can choose where she wants to go depending on her boosters. And really, your missiles are what allows you to have that teeth on that engage, right? It's the insult to injury, right? And then the matrix is what allows you to get to those spots without taking damage or to survive so that you can get out. Because let's put it this way. If you were, let's say, right here, hiding here, and you go 3, 2, 1, start lasering down this Kiriko, right?
Right.
Missiles damage. Is she going to die?
Maybe.
But what is likely to happen? 90% chance.
Her team's going to turn around for her.
She's going to get Beam. She's going to get Suzu. Jungle Queen's going to shout. And all these resources are going to throw in your way. So what resource do you need so that you don't freaking die?
Matrix
and?
Dash.
Right. Exactly. So you do a lot of value. Maybe don't get a kill, but you get a lot of value. You fly out. And then you know what? You do it again.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes tanking very unusual is you took out a character like Hanzo, and like Hanzo definitely has cooldowns to play around a little bit. But tanks in general are very cooldown reliant. They will go for a cycle of pressure, they'll disengage, restabilize. They'll go for a cycle of pressure, they'll reset and stabilize. And so like you need to be looking to do that as efficiently as possible because every time you go for a cycle of pressure, there's a chance you get a kill. There's a chance that your team gets a kill because you're distracting and forcing resources, right? And there's a chance that the second, third, fourth time you go for a cycle, the chances of you getting a kill become higher and higher and higher and higher because there's no Suzu, or maybe the Mercy's distracted by your team engaging, or maybe there's no Junk Queen Chowder, maybe there's no deflect on the Genji, or maybe there's no lunge from the Hanzo, and so on, if that makes sense. Okay, so we want to have cycles of pressure. Think of it almost like scrambles with jiu-jitsu, right? Where you hold a position, you make a play, you go for a setup, you go for a takedown, you go for a technique. There's a bit of a scramble. And then you need to, if you failed or if you succeeded, you need to stabilize, hold, stabilize, and then go for it again. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Don't lose the submission. Don't lose the position.
Exactly. Don't lose the position while you're going for a submission. You hold the position, you go for a play, and you reset and stabilize. Because if you overextend or mess up, it's like what they always say, like when you're, and they say like be very careful about going for an arm bar and mount, right? Because if you don't stabilize and hold the position, you'll not only lose the arm bar, but you'll lose the mount too.
And you're on the bottom now.
Exactly. And that's like the way to look at that with Overwatch is that's how you lose your mech, right?
Yeah.
You go for a play, but because you didn't go for it intelligently, you not only failed on the kill, you also died for it, and now your team's down one.
Yeah.
Okay. So like in here, this feels kind of weird, but you know what? You're equipped to do this.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I don't know why the Genji dashed you, to be honest with you. And I do think that, for example, like if we look at the micro here, right? You use your missiles here. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Zero damage. That's too far away, right? So then the Genji dashes you. I don't know why he wants to get close to a D.Va. But you know what? Imagine if you had missiles here.
Yeah.
This guy's cooked like brisket. You know what I'm saying? Like, he either dies or he gets resources forced and whatever. So, you know, we talked about you want to go for Hanzo, you want to go for Mercy, you want to go for Kiriko. And you do need to be thinking about those targets. But you know what? If a Genji just presents himself at point blank range on you, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it, right? So it's like, you know, okay, like there you go. I just wish that you had had your missiles a little bit sooner. Yeah. And obviously, like, your mechanics need to be better. You just need a little bit more practice. You need to be able to track this guy down. Even without that, you still get him relatively low. Mm-hmm. And we talk about tanking here, right? Like, what is tanking? You tell me. What is tanking in Overwatch, to your understanding?
I liked what you said. I watched your tank guide, and I like that a tank is a gun.
Exactly. Exactly. And the irony here is that you are a gun to one of the most dangerous characters on the enemy team right now.
Right.
This Genji is not threatening your backline. He's threatening you, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
And if you were to go for that Kiriko earlier, what will happen is you will turn the enemy's guns towards you as well. So you're like, oh, if I go for the backline, my team will die to Hanzo. Maybe the Hanzo's going to look at you, though.
Right.
Maybe the Jungle Queen's going to look at you right now.
He's not going to look at the rest of my
Exactly.
team.
And worst case scenario, even if they don't, you're cut off the lifeblood to those threats to your team. So I think even a character like D.Va with an ability like Matrix, I mean, beautiful job, right? Nice job. But even a character like D.Va is more offensively oriented, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is a risk. This is an all-in because you don't have an escape out, right? You've used your boosters in. But do you think it was worth it?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think that's one of those signs where you see somebody makes a positioning mistake and you're like, I'm going to scramble for this. I think I can take this guy down, right?
Right.
And if it doesn't work out and you die, it's not a bad play because it was a reasonable risk, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is good. Beautiful. You got close. You had a good off angle. Obviously, your missiles early on, not so good. That wasn't great, but your target priority was good. Your booster usage there was good. And there you go. Love to see it. If any questions come up during this discussion, just let me know.
Yeah, totally.
Missile usage was still a little bit suspicious there, but I think you'll have it in time for the fight, so I think you're okay. But I would be careful to even
use it again.
Right, but see, it's not just peeking it for it here. Who's more effective in this position? You know what I'm saying?
Like that, their team, they got Bastion, they got
right. How much damage do you do at this range? Right?
Not enough.
Right. It's like Marcelo Garcia. You don't want to end up in a clinch game versus somebody that's 300 pounds, right?
Right.
That's just not playing to your strengths. You could beat them in a matchup, but you don't beat them here. So what's going to happen is you're like, oh, I'm not going to die for it. Yeah, but you'll get your Matrix forced. You'll lose HP, which then means if you would have wanted to go now, you still don't have your resources back.
Yeah.
You're still you're still not full Matrix. You're still 4 seconds on your micro missiles. Just okay with doing nothing until the fight actually starts. Because now, well, what do you think now? What do you see?
I see Hanzo. I want Hanzo.
Are you going to get punished for going for this play? Because you're going to have to booster. You're going to have to booster. He's too far away. Now, I'm going to point out one other thing here. I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's important to be aware of this.
Mm-hmm. Tank's
see this?
routing up to me. Yeah.
Not only the tank, but this
Pocket Mercy.
This person right here. Look how close.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what's especially attractive about this Mercy right now, besides the fact, kill Mercy, everybody knows that. But what's the difference between the Mercy and the Hanzo right here? Do you see it?
Mercy's out in the open.
Yeah, Mercy's out in the open. But also, how do you get to the Hanzo? We talked about this, right?
Oh, I don't have to use my dash to get to Mercy.
You don't have to use your dash. You just drop. And because you've positioned pretty well, like I think this position is pretty cute, right? I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't have to use your dash. The problem is that you didn't know.
Yeah.
You set yourself up at a right angle for going for this Mercy. And I actually even going for the Bastion here if you knew about it, but you didn't know that she was there, so you didn't take the opportunity.
Yeah.
So what's the problem here? Is it awareness? Well, that's such a lazy word. What does awareness even mean, right? What awareness? What skill needed to be practiced here?
Something that my brother says. My brother's a Hanzo main, or usually Hanzo and Kiriko, but he says I know what was happening because I know what this character wanted to do.
Okay, great.
And so I don't feel like I have a lot of awareness of what Junker Queen wants to do. I know kind of like what Mercy wants to do, but like what that combo right there, where they want to go.
So you don't have the experience for that. So it's totally unreasonable for you to expect you to have the awareness for this kind of a push.
Okay.
So then what's the baby step then? What's the baby step that would have allowed you to know this Mercy was there?
Not play so far back into this room. Maybe use more Matrix to get visibility.
Sure. Maybe like you said, you peeked here early and then you fully disengaged. Maybe there's like a little bit in between where you flash Matrix, scout a little bit, flash Matrix, scout a little bit. But again, who are you scouting for? We talked about this earlier. Who do you want to be going for generally?
The squishies, Mercy, Hanzo, and Kiriko, the other healer.
So let's start with this skill. Like I said, baby steps. I want you to practice scout the enemy comp, see what they're running, and I want you to pick a target or two, no more, and track their positions.
No more than two.
No more than two. Track their positions, try to set up for those people, and think strategically. Think like chess, you want to get for the king, right? You want to checkmate the king. So you got to think a couple steps ahead. Okay, how do I get to that king? Can I use my boosters? How do I use it? Everything revolves around that for you, I think.
Okay.
Where's my team position? Okay, we're here. Okay, then how do I go for these targets? When do I need to go for these targets? Because if you're looking at this and you're tracking Hanzo Mercy, I think you're going to be peeking. Where's that Mercy? Oh, you got me?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right? And even if it's Hanzo Ana, right? Okay, that's all right. Hanzo Ana, good targets. That's all right. But pick a couple. And what you'll do is by starting small, you'll start to develop that autopilot sense where you'll have a easier time tracking targets without even thinking about it. Eventually, you'll get there. Eventually, you'll get there. Okay, so that being said, Hanzo's isolated. Maybe you go from, looks like you got knife pulled, which is annoying.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is the cycle here, okay? You failed. It wasn't necessarily all your fault. You lost some awareness. The Junker Queen had a really nice knife pull that pulled you back. You failed. Yep. What should you do right now? No missiles, no boosters. At least you're missing a lot of HP. What should you do?
I should go back to that.
You should go back because or disengage entirely, right? One or the other, right? Yeah. Because is what you did useless? No. I want you to watch what you did. Junker Queen and Mercy put all of their resources on you, not on your team. Hanzo had a really scary angle here. You see this? Guess what?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a really scary angle anymore. He's out. Right. And now the Ana has to pocket him too. You just tanked. It wasn't the most effective tanking. A kill would have been a better effective tanking, but you just tanked. You pulled 1, 2, 3 resources, got the Hanzo off the angle, got the Junker Queen Mercy distracted, and you should live to tell the tale. You should, if you play it correctly. Yeah. So when you go for a play here, and you're like, I failed, that's why you have Matrix. And you're going to Matrix, walk out, and fly away. Now, that's not what you're going to do. Oh! I should never have doubted. I'm a hater, man. I'm a hater. That was nice. That was nice, dude. That was really nice. That was really good. Now, that being said, be okay with doing nothing, right? So this is good. And then go right up back to here. Nice jump.
Yeah.
Don't do a thing. Let that HP go back up. Let the boosters come back. Let the Matrix come back. Because you're like, oh, missiles, damage. But this is meaningless. This is meaningless. This is just giving them something to shoot right now.
Yeah. And now I don't have my missiles to get this.
Exactly. And you get demaxed, right? Now they go for the same push in you again. It's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, I think just simply playing a little bit more chill there and being more patient was good. But honestly, I am impressed that you actually played for a little bit of a cycle there. That's very good tanking right there.
Thanks. Yeah.
No bueno.
Yeah.
So you got to think 2 steps ahead. First off, where's your team?
I only see now, or I see the Zenyatta, and everybody else is in spawn.
So what level of action should you be taking right now?
Just holding this room right here. Just not even
0. Literally 0.
Yeah.
Right? Literally 0. You might want to position for this angle, maybe. Maybe you want to position over here. I don't really care. If you want to go with your team, I don't really care. But whatever you do, don't do this.
Yeah.
Look at your HP. Look at your matrix.
Yeah.
And so now, like, we're approaching in the next few seconds a time in which your team is going to want to take action, and even you are going to want to take action, and you are not equipped for that.
Right. Yeah.
You got damage. You did what? 16 damage? 17 damage? Right? And it just doesn't matter. Because this, I like this. This is cute. This is a cool play. You got a little flank, matrix your bastion, and then you got your bomb, so you can go in really aggressive, and then bomb and remech, and you know the whole routine, right? You know what you're about to do here.
Yeah.
But for crying out loud, have 650 HP.
Yeah.
Right?
That was unnecessary. Yeah.
Right? Because it's not free. You can't do whatever you want whenever you want. You have to choose when you want to actually contribute here. And so obviously here you're a little bit slow on the touch, but it's whatever. I actually appreciate that you didn't bomb there. That was smart. That would have been a waste, but yeah. So what was the mistake there? Was the play that you went to go out top, high ground, and peek and poke it a million miles away bad? Yes.
Yeah.
But there were 2 reasons why it was bad. What were they?
I was separated from my team.
So why were you separated from your team? Did you know where your team was?
I did not.
Okay, that's the skill that needs to change.
Yeah.
So you made a mistake, but we need to address the root issue, which is you just were not thinking about where your team is positioned. That's a huge mistake. You have to fix that, okay? What was the number 2 reason why that was bad? Even if your team was there, was shooting that far away useful?
No, because I'm not playing to my strengths.
Right. You're not Hanzo or Widow or even Sigma, right? Even Sigma can do a little bit of damage at range, but like you just don't do that, so there's no point. So you didn't play to your range, and you weren't aware of your team. And that's the fundamentals that builds a great D.Va. You're aware that those are important skills, I think, obviously. Yeah. But you need to practice those skills so that you can do them without thinking.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this? Your team is here, right? Or at least close enough, right? So it's time to fight. So what do you think about this position here?
I see 3 people in front of me that I could dive.
Sure. But can you dive them? Check the bottom right. You see it?
I don't have my dash. Yeah, 2 seconds.
Right. So do nothing.
Yeah.
Do nothing. Or do something on something that's closer. Right?
Yeah, that I don't have to use that.
Your damage here is meaningless. His damage is not. So then if you have to use resources before you dash, then your dash play is going to be weak. Your cycle will be bad. You will get demacked.
Yeah.
Play to your cycle here. So here it's like now you're dashing, but you had already lost HP before you'd even dashed. Now this is pretty good.
Gave up halfway through. Yeah.
I mean that's okay, but this is pretty good, right? You're on the tank, you're on the support, you have your matrix here, you have your dash. This is good. You're up close. I mean, look at this, right? Love to see it. You're all up in the teeth here, and you're playing a little bit aggressive. Like, okay, so if we were to pretend you don't have bomb here, what should you do right now? Where should you fly? You got the kill. Where should you go?
Back to my team.
Back to your team. Why?
Because I need health.
Right, you need health. You need health, right? So you don't want to die for your cycle, right? You want to go in, go out, go in, go out. Now you don't have to do that here. Why?
Because I have my bomb.
Because you have your bomb. So you might throw your bomb here, stay aggressive, and then bomb the remech. You see that? Exactly what you do. Now get him. Nice. Obviously you don't get a kill, but you force a nice split. You buy more time. And now look how close you are. You see this? Yeah. Beautiful. The only bad part is that you used your boosters to get there, right? So it's not a bad play, but like right here,
like I didn't need to do that.
Maybe you didn't need to do that. I think it's okay. But maybe my next boosters, I'm thinking about getting out. I think a little bit of waste. So here's what you think about. Are you going to get this kill once Mercy's on him?
No.
Not really. Not without your missiles. So then what should you do instead of shooting right now?
Matrix and maneuver, or
just
think about maneuvering?
just matrix until you get that boot, until you get that dash back, right?
Yeah.
So you're still doing damage, and then look at when you die. See your matrix? You die and you have over half your matrix still alive. You could have lived here a little bit longer, or maybe even gotten out.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. You were on squishies. You were on squishies at a good time. Your team was fighting. You used your bomb. You remacked. You went in again. You used your missiles well. You flew in. You flew in for a great target. You didn't get out though because you mismanaged your matrix. But you know what?
Yeah.
I really don't think you should be too unhappy with this fight.
Okay.
I think it's okay. If you go in with your team at the same time on a good target, you use your abilities well, you're getting close to people, then that's really the essence of D.Va. The problem is like you're making the mistakes with like the execution, but it's like watching like a white belt with 3 stripes. They go for a takedown, they try to take him out, they get swept, but then they try to like get control where it's like they're doing all the right things, they're just not very good at it, right?
Right.
And that was that engaged from you right now. You should be okay with that. You should be okay with that.
Okay, cool.
Like even this, right? Good. Boosters, micro missiles was great. Great. The only problem here is what? Can you sense it?
My team's not here.
Your team's not here. As soon as your Sarma's dead, you're cooked, right? And so now you're engaging. Again, this isn't even a bad position to be engaged from. You're close to them. You're close to Bastion. You have full HP. You have close to full matrix, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so you're like, so you disengage, like you even disengage, like good, great cycle there, right? You force CDs, you force distraction, you didn't die for it. If only there were 4 other people or even 3 other people to help you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a mega here, by the way. Just not sure if you're aware.
Yeah, I'm also not good at knowing where the hell
that's not the most important skill in the world, but yeah. That's all right. You know what? You know what? You saved it. You made a mistake, but what did you do? Did you see this? You see this, right? You got out.
Yeah.
You got out. It felt like you were like, oh, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Nice. I mean, I would have loved for you to not be down all your HP right now, but you know what?
Right.
It's better than dying on a cart, right? Nice.
Yeah.
I'll take it. You need to break this habit, right? You just need to do nothing and think about like, okay, how do I set up for next fight? Because all that Zenyatta's Harmony Orb is like, it's going to take every little bit of healing for him to be able to heal you up, And the problem now is because you're like, oh, focusing over here, blah, blah, blah. You should be doing nothing and sitting. And if you were doing nothing and sitting, you might have seen this.
Yeah.
Right? So. Get her.
I wouldn't die.
Nice. Oh, he's so low. Nice. But they cap. It's too late.
Yeah.
That's okay. I like how proactive you are with this character. Oh, see, even this is good. Look at this. Look. You go in. You needed a matrix a little bit here, though, right? So, like, as soon as you see that Junker Queen's not going to die, just like matrix, then fly out. But even this is almost a good cycle. You see this? You go in for pressure, you fly out almost with your life. Just a little bit of matrix mismanagement. I think the general rule is once you've committed to a dive or a position, right? And you see that you're no longer going to get the kill. I want you to utilize that matrix to buy time so that then you can fly out. Don't keep shooting, just matrix. You're not going to get the kill. Just matrix, distraction, then fly out and then try again. And maybe get the kill that time. Whereas you're like you want to do these extra tickies, but it's over, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not killing either of these targets. So even stopping your matrix there is like meaningless. But yeah. Okay. Any questions so far?
I'm writing down kind of what you just said. So that like once the dive fails, like I'm holding down matrix to get the most value I can as a distraction.
Yes.
Is that kind of what you're meaning with
exactly.
that? Yeah.
It buys you time so that you get your dash again and you can fly back out again. Exactly. You can go, obviously you prefer to not use your dash on a dive at all, but if you have to, like you kind of had to there, then dash in, shoot. Oh no, I'm not getting the kill. Or maybe I already got the kill, right? And then I don't need to shoot anymore. I matrix, dash up.
Yeah.
That's the cycle.
So it's
That's the cycle.
Dive, hopefully kill, matrix.
And then fly back out again. And I think your mistake is that you understand that cycle and you're even doing it sometimes, but sometimes you're still shooting when the kill's not happening. And so then you don't quite get the chance to fly back out again.
Yeah.
I like how you're playing D.Va. Like I said, I really like the proactivity. I like the fact that you're not just standing AFK on front line. You're kind of looking for plays. And like, but like even here, like, so you have to be aware. I think this is okay. Like you're fighting with 2 players of your team, but you got to know that like this is probably not going to be a one fight.
Yeah.
So like, okay, that Sombera's dead. Mercy's dead. Okay, now if you can, Matrix and get out. Matrix and get out. And so you're bombing here, but I don't think you knew how far behind you were. You were behind 2, or more, if not more. Now, because it's bronze, things are going to work. You're going to drop a bomb here. Your Ana's going to be jumping in the air, and so she doesn't get to cover. And also because it's bronze.
This guy loses so many and falls. Yeah.
The Hanzo yell makes it even better. It's like a freaking Looney Tunes cartoon, man. But you know what? It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I just want to see more awareness of you of where your team is, essentially, and when you should get out. And even here, like, I really appreciate you trying to play your life here. Like, it's just like it's so close. Like, there's so many good things to say. You know, there's really so many good things to say. Okay, let's keep going. All right, teams here. Majority of your team anyway. Now, obviously, I know in bronze as well that like people are not always going to fight as 5. You're going to fight as 3. You're going to fight as 4. Your rule is just fight with the majority of your team. If most of your team is pushed up, like even there, the Moira Sombra pushed up, I'm okay with you fighting with them. But when they die, try to get out. I love this position from you. Really love it. And I love this little angle you're taking here. Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. See, look at this. Zenyatta has an angle. Moira has an angle. Sombra has an angle. Sombra's pushing high ground. Maybe you're a tiny bit early with your drop, but it's close enough, to be honest with you. It's close enough. And I love the angle that you have on the back line here. And also because you've used your dash to take this high ground and then you've just like plopped in here. You've not used, in fact, I would actually be pressing a little bit of W here to get a little closer, but like you have your dash immediately.
Right.
I actually think it could have stayed a little bit longer, to be honest with you. You had full HP, full matrix. I could have just blasted her in the face a little bit here, you know? But yeah, I don't like exactly how you executed it. I think you could have stayed a little bit longer, done a little bit more damage. But the play itself was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job. And you understand why that was good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I might have heard this ult, and maybe that's why I was dashing back, but I don't. Yeah, I kind of don't know why I didn't stay there longer.
Sure. So what about this ultimate made you want to dash back though?
I like getting in the beam. It makes me a tankier tank because now there's a gun coming out of my chest and I'm getting healed.
True. That's true. So here's what I want you to think though. If your Moira uses Cole and you need the healing, then fly into the Cole. If you don't need the healing, right here, don't do it. Because if nothing else, think of it as like Cole's like a giant off-angle flank beam. So everybody's focusing on you. You stay here. You're like Bastion tier, right? And then, but then they're also getting like crossfire from the Cole beam. It's miserable, right? But then as soon as you leave, this Mercy can then hide over here. You see this? Now everybody can hide on the left. Like even the Ana, right? See, they're all hiding on the left. You should be the person that says, nope.
You can't do that.
You have to stand in Cole, right? Yeah. So be very careful. I understand the peel here. But you know, who are you closer to? Junker Queen or their backline? Think about it. Right before you use that boosters. It's a small little detail, but it's an important one. Who are you closer to?
I'm closer to the backline.
Just a little bit closer to the backline, right? And the other benefit of not using boosters here is that, well, you don't use boosters, right? You don't use your dash. So you could sit here and keep these guys matrixed and shooting and be like, nope. Play run cart, nope. You get low, what do?
Step into the beam.
Yeah, step into the beam or just fly out.
Yeah.
Right? The problem with flying back here is, you can matrix her shots a little bit and kind of disrupt her and distract a little bit. But actually, maybe not, because look what ends up happening anyway.
We get shot in the back.
Can't stop Axe.
Yeah.
You know? But you know what you can stop? Here's what you can stop.
Yeah. Guns.
Hanzo. Nano Bastion is what you can stop. and at the same time maintain that dash so that you can fly out. Because I like the Matrix here. Would have liked it 3 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Don't peel backwards if your positioning already allows you to contest the enemy team.
Yeah.
Very rarely is that the play. Okay, any questions so far?
I just want to write that the last thing you said. So don't peel backwards. If I'm already, how did you say it? If I'm already in position on the enemy team?
To do something. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because it uses a cooldown and it doesn't improve your situation, right? You're still shooting people. No, I mean, even if that had not been a Nano Bastion, even if that had just been like a Reaper or a Tracer or a Hanzo or a Cassidy, it still just hold them. You know, don't use your boosters. Hold them. Okay. I like it. I like it. If anybody's up here, you're up and close. You're up and close personal. You're up close personal on a squishy, and you have full HP, full matrix, missiles, and your team's kind of walking forward at the same time. Let's show 'em. Okay, so then now this is where you have to think chess. So I want you to look at their comp, and I want you to think. Remember we talked about tracking 2 people's positioning, or maybe even just 1 person's positioning. Who do you want to track?
So, who do I want to track?
Don't overthink it. Just what does your gut say? What does your gut say?
Ana and Mercy.
Great, works for me. So how do you set up in this Ana Mercy? You're already doing it. I love this.
Yeah, I kind of know where Ana wants to go.
Uh-oh, Junkrat pushes you. You know what? Come on in. Let's go. You know, I'll Matrix on missiles. And even if I don't get the kill here, I'll have my boosters. I can fly out again if things go badly. And right now, things are going pretty well. Now, you need to be... Now, okay, so here's the real question here. Are you going to get the kill on this Junkrat or Ana anymore?
Probably not.
Probably not. HP is too full. You kind of messed up mechanically here. You don't have your missiles. So what's the play now?
Get out. Get back to my team.
So how do you use your CDs? Remember, this is something that you kept messing up earlier. Now, I know you're not going to do it perfectly here, but like in the future, what do you think you should have done here?
Use the rest of my matrix and
use the rest of your matrix, then use your dash. Exactly. And it's such good value because all these cooldowns, Sleep Dart, Nade, Concussive Mines, Junkrat, all their high damage characters all focus on you. And look at this Junkrat or Junker Queen. She's doing nothing. She's getting no support. No support from her Ana, no support from her Junker. And you're not even going to die for it. You're not going to die for it. Junker Queen might die for it. If she gets focused down, she can shout maybe, but shout is not as good as dash when it comes to getting away. So in theory here, this should be something that you're happy with.
Oh man, dashed on the wall.
Well, okay, so first off, let's look at the micro here. A little bit at the micro. Matrix. Good. Good. But just you flew into the wall.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm like, do you see his face? What? Okay, holy cow. It's like a Vietnam flashback. But to be honest with you, I think you should be pretty pleased with this. Your Ana's a little bit slow because the Junker Queen is like 1 HP, but you matrixed out, you flew out, you messed up your fly, which killed you, but great. This was it. This was it right here. You went for a setup, you staged on backline, you almost got 1 kill and then 2 kills. If you kill that Junkrat, the Ana dies afterwards.
Right.
And then you almost got out of free.
Yeah.
You just messed up it mechanically. You know what? I love it. If every mistake that you make, that's the thing I always say, if the only mistake that you made is you messed up mechanically, that's a great, great position to be in. Because that means, and even then it still works. Look at that, Junkrat dies. No Ana sleep, no nade. You might get your back, unfortunately not. But yeah, that was good. That was good. You should be very pleased with that.
Okay.
D.Va is hard on this point, right? There's not, there's like a lot of big open space, right? But yeah, okay. This is no bueno. Right here, what's the plan? What should you do?
I should go up to that blue room again.
You really should. You really should. You really should. Or you could even, honestly, at this point, so we talked about like, wait a second. See this?
Yeah.
You could just shoot this tank. Why would you shoot the tank here and not the supports?
Well, because I'm closer to the tank and I
That's
don't have
it.
to use my dash. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the flip of what the previous fight was. Remember that was like, oh, don't, control that. But she's right here. She's feeding. Light her up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Light her up. Instead, you dash, don't really go anywhere, staying out in the open. And then again, I think you prioritize damage a little bit too much here. I think you just need to keep matrixing here. This guy is not going to die at this point in time. So then you drop your matrix, and then now you get demeched with 3/4 matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's keep going. Huge. 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 I mean, this is messy, very messy mechanically, but that, again, it's one of those situations where like your tracking is just all over the place, right? And to be fair, it's Tracer. The Tracer's freaking obnoxious. But you know what you did? You prevented her from going for your backline with pulse bomb. And you should kill, and you almost killed her. You should have killed her. You forced, and there it is, right?
Yeah. Dang it.
So, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing. Just need to keep practicing on how you're doing it, and then obviously some of the fundamentals of the way that you approach things. Okay, so let's keep going here. Nice. Don't peek. Wait for your team. Don't peek. Wait for your team. Now they push into you. Do you know what you should do here? What should you do here?
I feel like at this moment I should get on payload. And
I think so too. Well, why? Are you going to get a kill at this point in time?
No.
So what's your mentality shift with the cycle, right?
They want me, so I want to give them me and then give them bomb.
Sure. You have D.Va bomb, but here's the question with the cycle: if you're no longer getting a kill, do you need to stay?
No.
And you see what you have?
Out. I have my boost. And my matrix.
I could see here you thinking I have bomb to remix, so I'm going to keep going and going and going and going. That would also be okay. I understand that, but there's also nothing wrong with this point in time just freaking getting out and then going for it again.
Yeah.
Because like here, it's like, oh my days. Like you're going to remake bomb here? Well, you should have remake bomb there. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I honestly don't know what happened here. So you either need to remake bomb or you needed to get out, because again, if you fly out here, I mean, look at this. This looks like Mardi Gras. Like what is going on over here? Like everybody and their mother is coming to celebrate, and you could just fly out and waste all their time.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like when you could have flown out, you were pretty close to full HP too. Like you would have gone out with like 500 HP.
Yeah.
And all the nade, the sleep dart, the mercy beam, the both Junkrat mines and the trap. And actually, you also created a situation where your Sombra almost got a kill because they're all focused on you. So like it was great. It just, that's good. And it's situations like these where it's like really easy to get frustrated, because you're like, dang, I just keep this is not working, But you got to have the drill mindset. You got to have the drill mindset. You're doing good. You're just so close. You're so close. You're going for the right things. You're not going for them. You're not doing them well, but you're going for the right things. Keep practicing. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And even if this is a 3-0 total turbo stomp, your team is GG's, D.Va diff, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This was a very productive game. Go next game. You're trying too hard.
Yeah.
What do you see on your screen?
I see somebody up on the high ground. I think that's Ana.
You could go take up here. Well, that's a mercy, but you could again set it up. Set it up. Do it again. Find your cover. Or here's an idea: go for the Junkrat that's sleeping right in front of you.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, So think about the target you want to go for. Think about how you want to set up for them, and make it work. Now, I assume this is going to be a pretty big D.Va bomb here. Maybe. Does the job. Nice. You played your life. You needed to not die there. You need to not die here too. Don't like just sit here and hide.
Yeah.
And Matrix. You don't do anything. Don't do anything. I do not know what your Ana is doing. I really don't know what your Ana is doing.
Yeah, not healing me.
But you know what? It's fine. She's doing value
Yeah.
elsewhere, so you know what? There, you die with full matrix.
Ah, dang it. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, not full matrix, half matrix. It is what it is. That's all right. But you still a good fight from you, right? Good distractions, good kills, good pressure, good stuff. You were the unsung hero.
Mm-hmm.
And if maybe you're honest, like, you know what? It's funny. What's the worst case scenario? Your Ana is mad at you for playing D.Va, and she's hard throwing the fight because she's mad. But you know what? You still got good practice on your cycle. You still got practice on your mechanics. You still got practice on your target focus and all that stuff. So yeah, and this is a rip tire that's going to end the game. I feel like, yeah, and that'll do it.
Yep.
You guys actually don't touch. Okay. Okay. What do you sing? What needs to be practiced? We talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Talked about a lot of things. But what are specific skills like techniques and jujitsu, or even mindsets that need to be practiced?
Yeah. So I wrote down at the start, pick 2 targets, no more. To focus on.
Well, not just focus on, but 2 targets to what? Remember what was the skill that you need to practice?
To track.
To track.
Yeah.
Okay. Set up on. Because that's when we were talking about your awareness. Your awareness was bad, but we didn't just want to say your awareness was bad. We want to say your awareness of targets that you need to be aware of was bad. And so that's something that you can pick one step at a time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's a big one. What else needs to be practiced?
Matrixing when a dive fails to get the most value out of the dive, out of a
cycle
botched dive.
When a dive kill fails, matrix out, rinse and repeat. Don't keep greeting damage. Very important one.
Yeah.
What else?
Try to set up my dives to use dash to get out, not necessarily to get in.
Set up dives to use dash to get out when possible. Okay. What else? What was about the team awareness, right?
Yeah, making sure fight with the majority.
Yeah, fight the majority of your team. Check their positioning. Pre-fight. You can't check in the middle of the fight. Way too much crap going on at the same time, right? Way too much on your screen. You know, especially in console, like the biggest disadvantage of console is how hard it is to turn around.
Yeah.
So you need to deal with that by before the fight starts or when you're setting up, thinking about, okay, where is my team fighting? Where is my team positioned? Because the other thing to think about is like, remember that like first corner that you're fighting on with D.Va in the high ground on defense?
Yeah.
Like, what if your team was pushed up in the spawn? You know, you need to go with them. You need to find a high ground that's going to be around that, right? So, okay, that was mostly it. Were there any other things that you saw that were a priority? But because those 4 were really big.
So a kind of maybe a decision making thing was the split second decision making thing I need to practice was the thing that you said about don't peel backwards if I'm already in position to do something.
Don't peel backwards or push forwards.
Yeah.
If you're already in a position to do something. That, remember the Junker Queen on the attack there, right? Where you pushed into the backline and there's a Junker Queen right behind you. So it doesn't matter if it's a push or a peel. If you're in position to get value, do it without using a CD. That one's a little bit harder to interpret, but it is something to kind of keep in mind. Okay, now this is where we tie it up really importantly. Just like jiu-jitsu, you can't practice all these things at the same time.
Right.
You could not go into a free roll and be like, I'm going to set up my Americana setups along with my grips, and you know, it's just not going to work. So you need to try to isolate
jiu-jitsu.
Right. You need to isolate one of these things at a time and practice it. Now, it could be one thing per game. It could be one thing per day. It could be one thing per week. I don't really care how you want to choose this. You can prioritize whatever you want here, because all of these I think are important. I don't think there's a hierarchy here. You can think on it your own and decide in your own time what you want to practice first. And also, just like jiu-jitsu, you're not going to be Marcelo Garcia level at rear naked chokes the first time you practice it. So that doesn't mean that you keep practicing the rear naked choke until you're as good as he is. What that means is that you give it a day, a week, a handful of games, a dozen games, 20 games, however long you want to. And then you go, okay, that was good practice. Time to move on to the next skill.
Right.
Don't try to master any of these skills. Try to improve them and then move on to the next skill.
Yeah. Okay.
And then hopefully by improving them, by thinking about them a lot, by trying to keep your mindset focused on that skill and only that skill for a couple of games, a couple of days, a week, whatever, then when you go and focus on the next skill, you'll still be doing a little bit of that previous skill. It'll be autopiloted just a tiny bit. And that times, week after week after week, you'll get there. Okay. Any questions?
Not at this time. Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's get this recording stopped.